You are watching KVU 25 News Now at 10.
Good evening and thank you for joining us. I'm Adam Seibel. This afternoon around 3 p.m. a man was pronounced dead in the 2300 block of North Cameron Street. Victoria police said a neighbor called concerned about a man who collapsed in his front yard and confirmed that he did live at that residence. Emergency workers tried to help the man, but there was nothing they could do. Police do not suspect foul play and said the man died due to natural causes with other medical issues. Authorities did not release his name at this time, and it was unclear if an autopsy will be conducted. VPD said they estimated that the man to be in his 60s. On Wednesday, a drug task force arrested Jeffrey Sharp in Inez. He was pulled over on Highway 59. Authorities say they found 3 clear plastic bags with methamphetamine. Sharp faces a drug charge and was taken to the Victoria County Jail. And in Wharton County, the sheriff's office is requesting the public's help in identifying this person who's pictured in reference to a theft that they say occurred at the district courthouse. This happening on June 20th around 10 a.m. If you have any information, please contact Sergeant Grosser at the sheriff's office at 979-532-1550. 3 San Antonio police officers are charged with murder after the fatal shooting of a woman having a mental health crisis inside her own home. Authorities releasing body cam of the incident. 46-year-old Melissa Perez was allegedly armed with a hammer. Those officers now suspended without pay.
Tonight, 3 San Antonio police officers charged with murder after shooting a woman inside her home. That woman, police say, was in the throes of a mental health crisis. Officers approaching 46-year-old Melissa Perez early Friday after receiving a call that she had cut wires to a fire alarm at her apartment complex.
Hey, lady, get over here.
Perez then running back to her first-floor unit. Police removing a window screen to gain access. That's when they say Perez grabbed a hammer and they drew their weapons.
You're gonna get shot!
Shoot me! You're not gonna work!
Hey!
Police say Perez then threw a glass candle at one officer. According to police, Perez ultimately smashes that front window with her hammer.
Hey, watch out!
Police opened fire, missing Perez, who they say then came to the door with hammer in hand. Perez is shot through the door and killed. The 3 officers arrested and charged with murder are Sergeant Alfred Flores, Nathaniel Villalobos, and Eliezer Alejandro.
The shooting officer's actions were not consistent with SAPD's policy and training.
Through their family's attorney, Perez's daughter says, "This breaks my heart. I always trusted the police to protect me, and now I don't know who to trust." All 3 officers were immediately suspended without pay. It's not clear tonight if any of them have entered a plea. Phil Lipoff, ABC News, New York.
A new Texas state law increases what SNAP applicants' vehicles can be worth before they're disqualified for federal food assistance. But most states don't take car values into consideration at all. So your viewer poll this evening, should the value of one's vehicle be considered when applying for food stamps? Let's take a look at these results. 71% say yes, that should be considered, and 29% say no. Thank you for voting, and as always, come to crossroadstoday.com/vote to participate. All right, it's time to talk weather on this Saturday night. Howie, was another hot one. From your forecast earlier, I saw a lot of triple digits, which is a little concerning, but it is summer, so.
It's officially summer now, Adam, but it was going on before summer, and there's not really an end in sight as of yet. Even though we will get a little bit cooler, we're going to stay on the hot and muggy side. Right now, they're coming down, the temperatures, that is, for the heat indices, mid to upper 90s still at this hour of the night. And then as we take a peek at our winds, yeah, not too bad. A little breezier earlier on. We'll be in the 80s this evening. Overnight, they'll drop it down to 79. Mostly clear. We'll take on a little bit of cloud cover, then we'll clear up. But we'll talk more about our heat and a impending cool down as well, Adam.
All right, thanks, Howie. There are new details about the investigation into the Titan sub disaster. The Canadian ship that launched the doomed vessel returning to port in Newfoundland with flags at half-mast. OceanGate CEO Stockton Rush among the 5 people killed in that catastrophic implosion. Tonight, the company's co-founder defending his actions.
Tonight, Canadian investigators zeroing in on the Polar Prince, the ship returning today after taking the Titan sub to sea, losing contact an hour and 45 minutes later. All 5 passengers on board instantly killed in a catastrophic implosion.
Investigators boarded the Polar Prince to examine and document the vessel, to collect information from the vessel's voyage data recorder. We have also begun conducting interviews with the people aboard the vessel.
Authorities also hoping to recover audio recordings. They say investigations typically take anywhere from 18 months to 2 years. In Newfoundland, a U.S. Navy-operated crane waiting on the U.S. Coast Guard, the lead agency in the investigation, to decide whether to recover the sub's key pieces of evidence now sitting on the ocean floor. Tonight, the OceanGate co-founder defending CEO Stockton Rush, the pilot of that doomed submersible.
He was very committed to safety.
Even as text messages sent to a potential passenger and provided to ABC News show Rush dismissing concerns, writing, quote, "While there's obviously risk, it's way safer than flying in a helicopter or even scuba diving."
A defense budget expert tells ABC News once all is said and done, he estimates the U.S. to pay about $1.5 million for the search and rescue operation. A Coast Guard spokesperson says they could not provide a number because they do not associate a cost with saving lives. Jacqueline Lee, ABC News, Boston.
Alrighty, grab your cell phone and you can scan this QR code that you see right here. That's a quick response code. It lets you download the Crossroads Today app where you can watch us anytime, anywhere, and get breaking news alerts and vote in those viewer polls. And you can also learn about ongoing contests as well as submit news tips, videos, and photos. And you can also remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Crossroads Today. Hit that like and subscribe button and click the notification bell. And stay with us. Coming right up, protests across the country because today marks the first anniversary of the Supreme Court decision which overturned Roe v. Wade.
We're looking at some rain or a cool down, or are we going to continue to stay hot? Well, we'll talk about that coming up in just a little bit.
Victoria's Pride celebration was today. It took place in downtown Victoria, kicking off at 5, and it just wrapped up at 10 p.m. There were vendors, food, live music, and resources to celebrate the LGBTQ community and their allies, and they also said admission was free. And with June being Pride Month, there were continued celebrations across the nation today. In San Francisco, the world's largest Pride flag was turned on to welcome all for Pride weekend. The laser rainbow is more than 4 miles long. Thousands of people marched for transgendered rights. In Minneapolis, First Lady Jill Biden spoke at a Pride festival where she said her husband's administration will fight for LGBTQ rights.
We know that there are those who wish to undo the hard-won progress this community has made. And tomorrow, we will brave those battles once again together. Joe stands with you now, and he will stand with you forever. Today, I'm here on the behalf of Joe and Kamala and Doug to say loud and clear that you belong, that you are beautiful, and that you are loved.
The theme for this year's event was looking back and moving forward. And in Nashville, thousands gathered on the Broadway to watch this year's annual Pride Parade. That 90-minute procession featured motorcycle, marching bands, drag queens, and politicians, including State Representative Justin Jones of the Tennessee 3. Now to the race for the White House and abortion on the ballot. The presidential hopefuls on the campaign trail today trying to define their positions on abortion and the protests across the country, because today marks the one-year anniversary of that Supreme Court decision which overturned Roe v. Wade.
Tonight, 1 year after the Supreme Court overruled Roe v. Wade, abortion is taking center stage on the 2024 campaign trail. Let's protect religious liberty. Former South Carolina Governor Nikki Haley telling voters today there is a place for a federal law on abortion, an about-face from last month when she called it unrealistic. Former Vice President Mike Pence calling on his GOP rivals to join him in supporting a 15-week federal abortion ban.
We will never rest and never relent until we restore the sanctity of life to the center of American law.
Since the fall of Roe, 15 states have enacted laws for a total or near total abortion ban.
Over the past 365 days, the women of our nation have suffered,
prompting President Biden on Friday to sign an executive order aimed at strengthening access to contraception.
Make no mistake, this election is about freedom on the ballot once again.
In Washington today, anti- and pro-abortion rights activists say in 2024, abortion is on the ballot.
I am a single-issue voter. I care about the pro-life issue.
Next year, you just really have to vote and get your voice heard.
A newly declassified U.S. intelligence report suggests American spy agencies remain divided over how the COVID-19 pandemic began. A 10-page report issued by the Office of the Director of National Intelligence offers new details about COVID-19, but does not state definitively whether it was leaked from a Chinese lab or if it was caused by exposure to an infected animal. The report lays out the division within the intelligence community, some of which were previously acknowledged. It says almost all intelligence agencies agreed that the virus wasn't genetically engineered, and all agencies agreed that COVID was not manufactured as a biological weapon. Now to the latest in Russia's war against Ukraine. Russian President Vladimir Putin addressing the nation after the leader of the Russian paramilitary Wagner Group, an ally of Putin, called for an armed rebellion against the Kremlin's defense minister and started marching towards Russia. Now that leader announcing he's turning around to prevent Russian bloodshed.
Russian state TV reporting what it called an attempted mutiny by the head of the Wagner paramilitary group, Yevgeny Prigozhin, his army of mercenaries taking over defense and intelligence security buildings in Rostov-on-Don, a key Russian military hub near Ukraine. He then ordered his tanks and military to head north towards Moscow. Mama! A major oil depot exploding as Wagner troops advanced. Video circulating online shows military helicopters being fired on by Wagner forces. An angry Vladimir Putin addressed the nation, saying he'd been stabbed in the back and warning of civil war.
It's the first time that Putin's control in decades has been challenged. So his control, the facade of control, has been weakened, which in turn will weaken his control of his regime.
But then his troops less than 200 miles from Moscow, Prigozhin announcing a halt, saying he wanted to avoid Russian bloodshed. Wagner fighters seen cheering as they pulled out of Rostov. The Kremlin says Prigozhin's decision was negotiated by Belarus President Alexander Lukashenko, a Putin ally. The FSB intelligence agency had opened a criminal case against Prigozhin, but the charges quickly dropped. Ukrainian troops looking to take advantage of the disarray, pressing occupying Russian forces in the south and east of Ukraine. ABC's Ian Panel spoke with President Volodymyr Zelensky's spokesman, Mikhailo Podolyak.
Given what we've seen happening in Russia, do you believe we're now at the beginning of the end of the war in Ukraine?
Without a doubt, it is the beginning of the end. But the problem is this end can last for quite some time, and we have to understand that.
A senior U.S. official tells ABC News the White House has been closely monitoring these developments in real time and coordinating with key American allies. Joint Chiefs Chairman Mark Milley canceling a scheduled trip to the Middle East today, instead speaking with his Ukrainian counterpart. Derek Dennis, ABC News, New York.
Turning now to breaking news from Montana, portions of a freight train plunging into Yellowstone River after a bridge collapsed. Multiple tanker cars were damaged and leaking petroleum products into the river, fueling fears of an environmental disaster near one of America's treasured national parks. A massive emergency response now on the scene.
Tonight, the urgent race to contain a hazmat spill in the Yellowstone River after a freight train derailment and bridge collapse sent multiple cars plunging into the rushing water below. New images showing those damaged cars in the Yellowstone. Authorities say it happened early this morning in Stillwater County, about 40 miles west of Billings, Montana, and 110 miles northeast of Yellowstone National Park. A yellow substance seen coming out of the wreckage. The Montana Rail Link, which owns the train, confirming the crew is safe and no injuries were reported.
Certainly, this is a big impact. It impacts the rail line across Montana.
Officials telling ABC News that 4 derailed cars were carrying molten sulfur and 3 were carrying hot asphalt, saying those substances leaked into the river. Water treatment facilities in 3 cities, including Billings, now taking emergency protective measures, telling residents to conserve water, but adding there is no reported threat to life or property.
And officials are still trying to figure out how that accident happened, whether recent rains forced the bridge to collapse or if the train derailment caused the accident. Zoreen Shah, ABC News, Los Angeles.
And for more on today's news stories, come to crossroadstoday.com. Don't forget to submit your birthday wishes. Carolina Estrain will read them live on 25 News Now Sunrise. And you can submit a local military hero so we can recognize them, which airs this coming Tuesday.
We're going to talk Crossroads hot weather coming up in just a moment. All right, so another hot one today. These days just kind of blend in with one another, super much on the hot side. Triple digits, dry weather ahead. We might get a little relief in terms of heat indices, so it won't feel as muggy, but the ambient temperatures, those are going to stay pretty consistent. Here's what we saw today, 97, so above average. Back in 09, we saw 102 degrees, but really, this isn't this is a biggie, it's hot, but really, it's those heat index calculated temperatures. Here's a nice shot of Cuero. Saw lots of blue skies today. What did that equate to? Lots of sunshine to really heat us up once again. We were gusting a little bit earlier in the 25-mile-per-hour range. Now, winds just kind of settling a little bit, less tug on the atmosphere, thus winds on the reduced side. Hey, 10, 12-mile-per-hour winds. Again, I want it windy when it's very much on the hot side and muggy side like this. So near the coast, right around 80. You move inland, still mid to upper 70. So the moisture is there, the mugginess is there for those heat index temperatures again. But some of these moisture levels might start to decrease later on in the week. We'll have some more dry air pushing in from out of the southwest. And if we can lower these numbers, won't feel as bad. Plus, those calculated heat index temperatures go down as well. And here's our heat index right now at the moment. We were pushing 111 in some spots earlier today, with the sun going down in the hundreds on some portions along the coast. You move inland, though, hey, in the low to mid-90s for those heat index calculated temperatures. Again, great day today for the beach. Great day today for the pool. And that looks to continue again tomorrow. Here's a look ahead, though. I talked about less moisture, dry air moving in. And with less moisture, our heat index calculated temperatures will start to minimize a little bit. It will be 113 Sunday tomorrow, 114 Monday, 112 by Tuesday. Later in the week, hey, getting down to 107, less than 110. Hey, that is a little bit of relief, even though we've had a lot to give with our intense oppressive temperatures. All right, high pressure still continuing to block and divert most storms. Some of these storms want to embed in the area and move in, but when they move into this stable air or this high pressure, the push down, hey, they start to diffuse and break down. We will see some storms pushing in. If it doesn't bring any showers and overcome the cap, at least we'll see some more tugging and pulling. This could bring our winds up a little bit, but as you see, really nothing really breaching into the area in South Texas for that matter. Here's our marine forecast. So 86 for that water temperature. Ooh, those are really heating up. What does that mean? When these storms, these tropical storms start moving into these water, that is a lot of fuel for those storms. Okay, occasionally at 5 feet to seas, that'll keep our bays on the choppy side. And I just talked about our storms. Now, what's going on with Cindy? Strengthening 60 miles per hour. Could be a hurricane in the next 36 hours. Good news is moving out into the open Atlantic, maybe Bermuda. We'll talk about that in the future coming days. And then for Brett is really winding down and weakening out. There was that wind shear off the coast of South America in the western Caribbean. Okay, 79 degrees overnight, mostly clear skies. We'll take on some cloud cover. That cloud cover will move in the morning, but then really what's going to happen, those clouds will thin, and then we'll see lots of sunshine with temperatures flirting with 100 degrees and heat index calculated temperatures right around 114. Looking ahead, that 114 stays steady through Monday, but then I talked about it. Some of these numbers start to come down as dry air moves in and these moisture levels start to lower. But we're going to stay ambient temperature-wise right around 100. The thing about it, those heat indexes, yeah, those will start to come down, and that might make it feel a little bit better, as well as we're going to have a lot of sunshine. For more weather, news, and sports, you can go to our app. That's at crossroadstay.com, and that is free on any Android and iPhone. And now we go to Sports with Zach.
Thank you, Howie. Preseason rankings have dropped. The number of area schools ranked highly. I'll have that coming up in sports. We are just 2 months away from the Texas high school football season, and the Texas Bible, also known as Dave Campbell's Texas Football preseason rankings, are out, and multiple teams make the list. The top-ranked teams in the Crossroads area from Class 2A Division I, the Refugio Bobcats, the Orange and Black, coming off a state final appearance where it would fall just short of winning its 6th title. Also ranked in Class 2A Division I, the Shiner Comanches at number 9, Ganado at number 21. In Class 3A Division I, last season's state semifinalist, the Edna Cowboys, number 3 in state. Cowboys head coach Jimmy Mitchell was also named Coach of the Year last season as well. The Goliad Tigers make the list, coming in at number 19. And in Class 3A Division II, the only Crossroads team ranked in the area, the Tidehaven Tigers at number 4, who also made it to the state regional finals last year. Moving up to Class 4A Division I, El Campo lands at number 12 in the state. The Ricebirds lost the number 1 running back in the nation in Reuben Owens, who is now headed to Aggie Land. And head coach Chad Worrell taking the helm is former Cuero State title winner Travis Reed. The Calhoun Sand Crabs find themselves at number 16. And now in District 4A Division II, the Cuero Gobblers come in ranked at number 4 to start the year. Cuero, who is a state semifinalist last year, looking to bring its first title to Cuero since 2018. Aaron Judge still out for the Yankees as the Texas Rangers in New York today for some early afternoon baseball. In the first inning, Texas trying to get on the board first, but a great throw from right going to beat the runner by a mile to keep the game tied. And in the fourth inning, still scoreless until Billy McKinney goes yard for a solo homer. That would be all the scoring in the game. Yankees win 1-0. And now the game millions had their eyes on. Dodgers Astros, Mookie Betts, second pitch of the game, robbed by Corey Julks. But a few batters later, another one hit to left. Julks isn't bringing that one back. LA with the early lead. Down 3 though. The Astros chip away, and Jose Altuve base hit's going to score Jake Myers. The Astros then work the bases loaded. In steps Alex Bregman. Grand slam to give Houston the lead, but Houston's bullpen unravels late. The Dodgers come all the way back and would take the lead on a balk called in the bottom of the 8th. The Astros lose a heartbreaker tonight, 8-7. And tonight, the Generals game was actually canceled due to field conditions in Louisiana. And while we're talking about Louisiana, the LSU Tigers beat Florida 1 game away from winning the College World Series. Adam, back to you.
All right, thanks, Zach. Stay with us. Coming up, people looking forward to the 2024 total solar eclipse are already booking their hotels to see it. Stargazers already preparing for a big event next year. A total solar eclipse will pass over Mexico and the United States and Canada on April 8th of next year. But fans of the highly anticipated celestial event are hoping to book their seat to view it. I would just get on my roof personally, but some of them have started booking hotels within the path of totality. That's areas where you can clearly see the eclipse, which will be about 115 miles wide, crossing 13 states in eastern Canada. It will be the last time Americans will be able to easily see such an event until August 2024.
Well, I might not be here back.
Well, I haven't looked it up, but in this area, I think we should be able to see it. You know, I think we're in, it said Mexico, southeastern, so I haven't Googled it yet, but
maybe we
I'm
can
sure.
just watch it here from the station. We don't have to book any hotels.
Yeah, so you guys might be in luck. No hotels. Just step out on your porch.
Well, I think we're going to do our best to see that one because some of us, especially me, I might not be here for the next one because that's a long time from now.
Yeah.
But,
yeah.
I guess 2044, that'll put you in Don Brubaker territory if you stay that long.
Whoa.
That would.
Whoa. All right, I know we'll go into the weather here. All right. Okay. Enough joking around here. Okay, so heat indices still in the 90s, even the hundreds on the coast, so still uncomfortable on the hot side. Overnight, right around 80 degrees. We'll get some clouds early tomorrow morning, and then we warm up. Looking ahead, still very much on the hot side, even though those heat indices start to drop.
All right. Thanks, Howie. Thank you, Zach. And thank you all for being with us. Have a great rest of your weekend.
Looking forward to that eclipse.
Yeah.